Hello darkness, my old...
Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now it's going to be something a bit different today, basically because last night I went to a concert or like a show. It was this here, the Simon and Garfunkel Story. So in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about the show, tell you basically just tell you about the show. So if you don't want any spoilers, I wouldn't recommend watching this video because I will go into a bit of detail about what actually happens during the show, what songs they do and what songs they leave out and stuff like that. So basically me and my dad went to this concert last night at a little venue called the Howden Park Centre in which is quite close to us. It's a lovely little concert hall, maybe about 300 seating capacity. So it's quite a small intimate venue, and we had absolutely fantastic seats. We were about the fifth row, I think, from the front, but we were right in the middle of the row, so we were pretty much at eye level with the two guys playing Simon and Garfunkel. So basically, the format of the show, I actually thought that it would be more like a musical. There'd be you'd have two actors playing Simon and Garfunkel, but there'd be a story behind it However, it wasn't, and I'm quite glad about that because it basically meant that we got to hear a lot more songs than I had actually expected, which was really good. I mean, the two actors, they were basically I'll just show you them in that program there. So there's people who I think we had those two there, Paul Simon and the guy playing Garfunkel there, and they were guys, I don't know them two, but they also had there was a three-piece backing band who I think really made the show because they can't just be the two people playing Simon and Garfunkel. I still think it would have been great, but I just think it would have been lacking something. The band really did make a lot of the songs fantastic to hear. So I'll just go through the set list a bit here. So they opened up with Sounds of Silence, great song, and then they done He Was My Brother. And basically they just worked through their career in chronological order. So they went back to their earliest hit song, if you can call it that, under the name of Tom and Jerry, Hey Schoolgirl. So basically what they done around this was they give a bit of context about the background of the song, but they weren't pretending to be Simon and Garfunkel although they were dressed up as them and everything. I mean, here's some stills from the programme here. There's my ticket. So they looked like them, but they weren't playing them as such. I mean, it wasn't oh hi, or how are you, or hi Paul, and all that. Which I'm as I said before, quite glad that it wasn't set out that way. So then they done a couple of songs from their first album, Wednesday morning 3 AM. This time the band had left the stage because all these songs on that early album they're all just acoustic songs with just just Paul on guitar and the two voices. So they've done Bleecker Street and then Leaves That Are Green and Kathy's song. Those two from the Sounds of Silence LP. Kathy's song performed solo by the actor who played Paul, and then the band came on stage and they done I Am a Rock, Richard Curry, and Somewhere They Can't Find Me, all from the Sounds of Silence album. Some songs Somewhere They Can't Find Me, really underrated album track. A lot of these songs, I wasn't expecting to hear them do them live, so it was really great to hear a lot of the deep cuts performed. And I could also during these ones as well, they had a big sort of projection screen behind them, which a lot of these early tracks, they had pictures of them, a lot of which I hadn't seen before. There was all early ones from when they were kids, and then in the early days when they were as Tom and Jerry, a lot of pictures that I hadn't seen before. So that was pretty cool. So then they went off stage and they had change of clothes. And while a film played, sort of showcasing 1967, the Summer of Love, they had songs playing from that year and everything. and then they came back on doing songs from the album Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme, which they mistakenly said was released in like 1967, but as we all know, like Simon and Garfunkel didn't put out an album like in 1967, and I think kind of missed out a lot of like the psychedelic scene. But certainly, I'd say that probably the album what probably fits in most with like that it was Parsley. So like I can understand like why they like associated the stuff from Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme with like the Summer of Love and that sort of thing. So they done big bright green pleasure machine. I think I got that right. And then also Patterns as well, which was again those two tracks. Paul Simon would never do those live now. So like by saying like these two do it. It was frankly like the next best thing really. So like those were great. And then they done a couple more tracks. Dangling Conversation. Art done the actor who played Art done a fantastic version of For Emily Whenever I May Find Her, and then Homeward Bound, Scarborough Fair, and then closing with a audience sing-along of Feeling Groovy. So at this point there was a short interval, but during the interval I overheard a couple of people see behind us saying that they thought that there were too many album tracks, but I have to disagree. I mean it's all very well hearing like the hits and that, but in like these early days, I mean they didn't have hit single after hit single. I mean like they only probably had about from like this time we're looking at about 5 big songs, and 5 sort of songs can't stretch out like over like an hour and a half, like or however long it was. So like they had to do like the deep cuts or like something. I mean like I would definitely prefer them doing sort of about doing like these album tracks and trying to write a story like around it, or like pretending to be them and stuff like that. I mean like I don't think I would have enjoyed it had they gone down that route with it, but they basically just stuck to doing really good versions of the songs. So that's after the interval. We're back at opened with a clip from the movie The Graduate, which provided a great introduction to the song Mrs. Robinson, and then they done a couple more tracks from the Bookends album. So Hazy Shade of Winter and America they done, and then they done something what I thought was quite unexpected. Basically, I think they rearranged like the stage a bit, so they got like the 2 stools out. But while they're doing that, they had like in the background playing some voices of old people, which if like you watch like my Bookends review, like I kind of destroyed that song, that piece of music or sound collage, basically saying that it sort of ruined sides 1 of Bookends for me, or like it was like a blip in the road, I think was like that was like the term I used. So I was very surprised to see them of course they didn't like perform it, but I had it playing while there was pictures of old people, and I thought they could have done another song from Bookends, like Save the Life of My Child or Overs, or like At the Zoo or something, but unfortunately not. I mean, like they had like voice of old people go, but it did provide a nice introduction to the next song, Old Friends Bookends. So it went into that nicely, which done like really great version of Old Friends, followed by Punky's Dilemma, which was really good. At the end of it, there was a bit like whistling going on. The actor playing Paul had he kind of mocked up like his whistling, but it's like we just saw them like laughing like on stage. I mean, like it was certainly live, and like it was great seeing like live music, because you do have like these little mishaps and stuff what happened, which for me, I mean, like really that makes a show. I mean, like I don't. I think like it's all very well like have like a perfectly choreographed, coordinated show. But I do also like it when like a little mistake happens, which maybe like unique to that performance. So that was pretty good. And then they done Faking It, which is one of my personal favourites, as I said like if like you watched like that last video. Really love that one. Very glad they done that one. And then they brought out the Simon and Garfunkel Big Guns for the album, for songs from the album Bridge Over Troubled Water. So they done Cecilia, got the they got the audience clapping along, and my dad was like out of time with his clapping at that. I think I just nudged him, said, "Stop it, Dad, yet." value out of time, but yeah, so like Cecilia was great, and then they done Keep the Customer Satisfied and The Only Living Boy in New York. So those 3 songs arguably could be my 3 favourite Simon and Garfunkel ones. So these were great to hear done live. And then they went off like another costume change while the band stayed on. I'm not sure if I mentioned, but they had a 3-piece band: bass player, a drummer, and a lead guitarist. But he also done like a lot of like the keyboard and like organ parts of like the early stuff. And he was like really talented. Like actually I could both like the piano and like the guitar as well. Right, so yeah, and then they performed like a little medley of Paul Simon's solo hits before a clip played from the 1981 reunion concert in Central Park. They then came on to do Late in the Evening, which I thought was great because that was a song that I actually missed out on hearing Paul Simon doing live. So like this was certainly like the next best thing, seeing like them do it live. It was fantastic, that one. Also done Baby Driver, Slip Sliding Away before closing with Bye Bye Love, the Everly Brothers cover. And as after that one, like they said, oh, it's time to go, goodbye. But I do think that pretty much all the audience knew that wasn't it. Because shortly after that, they came on, Art came back on again, and the person playing Art done a really great version of Bridge Over Troubled Water, really great, and then they closed with The Boxer, which was again pretty good, good audience single on that one. So overall, I really enjoyed this show. It's certainly unique, I think, because there isn't many other Simon and Garfunkel tribute acts of this sort of stature. What I've heard of, there's loads of Beatles tribute acts, loads of ones of Pink Floyd, but really not many are like Simon and Garfunkel. So it was great going to see probably the best one out there. And I love the format of the show, running chronologically through their albums, doing both the hit singles from them, and also love unexpected songs where I would never have expecting them doing stuff like Patterns and Somewhere They Can't Find Me and Faking It and songs like that. However, I would say though there were a couple of criticisms I do have of it. They actually played Paul. I do think sometimes he tried to put on his voice a little bit too much, and Paul Simon certainly with one of the most distinctive voices back in music. His voice is very hard to get to get right. But I do think that the actor who played it, he maybe tried a bit too hard, so to get every nuance of his voice right. So I probably would have preferred it had he just sang in his natural singing voice. I think it would have been a bit more effective that way. Another thing as well, however, the harmonies were great. Another thing though, they did kind of speed up a couple of the songs. That songs like A Hazy Shade of Winter and Sounds of Silence, it kind of felt like they were rushing through them, and also most notably as well The Boxer, which on Bridge Over Water is a quite slow guitar one, but in this way they turned it into a fast-paced audience sing-along, which I didn't think worked that well, as a version of The Boxer, but it did work well to end the show. So overall though, I have to say I thought that the show was fantastic, and I had a thoroughly great time. I would certainly recommend this to any fan of Simon and Garfunkel, if they're playing near you, because it's a really good show. It's not a sort of musical about them or anything like that, because if you're not into musicals, you still have a really great time with this show, I think. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.